What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr Digimon TCG. So as Joe used to do on the Yu-Gi-Oh channel, I thought I would do some features here on the Digimon channel, as this is a game that I have recently got into. So massive shout out to Kev and Kyron, who have been incredibly bad influences on me and pushed me to build Mastemon. Now, I went to my second locals yesterday and I ended up getting second place with Mastemon. I finally got it to a position where I really do like it and really do enjoy it. And I feel that it's relatively within that position of kind of being complete. What I do like about Digimon is there's a loads of different factors about the gameplay and then actual deck building that kind of simplifies it a lot more than Yu-Gi-Oh! The only kind of criticism I have in regards to Digimon is the not having the factor of like a side deck. I think with Yu-Gi-Oh! Having a side deck is such a big element because it allows you to give you the ability to take out cards that might be less effective against certain matchups. So for example, if your opponent's cards can't be destroyed or deleted, you kind of want to look at alternatives to take cards out that is exactly its sole purpose, and then side in cards that would either digivolve or return to the bottom of the stack, which I think is really kind of cool. What I do like about Mastemon is it has that balance of being able to return cards to the bottom of the security stack, as well as being able to recover some security stacks yourself, and then also delete and be a bit more aggressive. So I thought I'd show you or showcase this profile off for you. It's a little bit different to those that are online, and I thought it'd be quite interesting to give you a kind of a position or a viewpoint from someone that's come from like Yu-Gi-Oh! To Digimon, and then a new player into the game of how I've been able to adapt and put a deck together and then fully enjoy it and build from there. So hopefully you get more information from this than just the Mastemon list, and hopefully it'll give you a bit more of an insight into the player thought and process behind building a deck, rather than just slapping it all together and then going, yeah, you just play it because that's the recipe of it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like the video, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content from Joe and the team as well. So diving head first, we start off with the eggs. So usually you can play up to 5 eggs, but you can only play 4 of each card. So like a playset in Digimon, again, if you're watching this, you should probably know this, but a playset of Digimon is 4 copies unless on specifically the ban list. So for the egg, we've gone for the Nyaromon. And the reason you go with this is that some of your level 3s, which is what we'll end up starting with, they get benefits of being able to digivolve on top of a Nyaromon. Sometimes you'll be able to digivolve for 0, and it's kind of better having this purple, as that's what both of your Salmons and even the Ukamons that we play are able to digivolve on top of it. And then the inherited effect, the effect that it gives to the Digimon above it, is actually quite nice, that when you attack, as long as you have a yellow Digimon in play, you draw a card, and then if you do, you also get to trash a card, which is quite helpful for some of the other cards that allow you to digivolve from your trash and everything else. So going with the 4 Nyaromon, of course you can play other ones. There are some yellows that you could start off with as well. The issue with the yellows is it means you don't get to play this Salmon, which I'll show you now. So you don't get to play the BT16 Salmon, and what makes this one so good is that it's yellow-purple, and on top of that as well, it allows you to digivolve for 0 on top of a Nyaromon, which is obviously what we're playing, which means you don't need to pay this little cost here. And on top of that, it has the benefit that at the start of the main phase or on play, if it is your turn, one of your Digimon may digivolve into a level 4 Digimon card with the Holy Beast or free trait in the trash, with the Digivolution cost reduced by 1. So it basically allows you to get into your Gotomons reduced by 1. There's a Gotomon that on play lets you look at the top 3 and then add a card, and there's a Gotomon, on Digivolution or play, and then there's a Gotomon that does it on play. So for those of you unfamiliar with the terms of this one as well, on play is when you hard cast the card for playing it for free, or if you have another card that plays it for its own cost, or for no cost at all. Digivolving on top does not trigger the on-play effects. It's only if it says when digivolving, which we'll see on the Gotomon here, it says on play and when digivolving, so you'd get it from both kind of scenarios. But on the other Gotomon that we play, this one just says on play. It doesn't say when digivolving. So if I was to digivolve into it, I wouldn't get that effect. The inherent is all of your opponent's security get neg 3000 during your turn, which is actually quite helpful because you want to be very careful when you're attacking with your aces. And aces are kind of like Digimon's version of hand traps, and they basically allow you to, like, you get a benefit of being able to play them without having to pay certain Digivolution costs and memory and all of that jazz. But on the downside is if they leave the field, you then give memory back to your opponent. So I quite like that mechanic. I think it's a benefit for you to be able to play them, but then there's also that risk and reward of if you do lose them, you're going to give your opponent memory. We then play another Salmon of the EX6, so we're going to be playing 4 of this one. So this one is at the start of the main. If you have a purple Digimon or a Tamer, you get to gain a memory, which is quite useful because the more you get, the easier you'll be able to combo off. This one allows you to Digivolve for 0 onto a yellow or purple Digimon. So it's really only if you change in this egg to a yellow egg, that's when it will affect the first Salmon that I showed you. The inherent is when attacking, one of your opponent's Digimon gets neg 2000 DP. And then I'm playing 2 Ukamon, so this is a little bit different from most builds out there. Ukamon is a Digimon that allows you to Digivolve on top of a level 2, so one of your eggs, for the cost of 1. And obviously you can see that it's got a rainbow colour in here, so it can Digivolve onto any colour. The only issue is you can't Digivolve on top of Ukamon unless it is a white Digimon. So this will basically be used as a way of being able to get more access to some of your cards and just a free attack at security. So this one is during your turn, once per turn, when one of your Digimon moves from the breeding area to the battle area, you get to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck to add a Digimon card or a Tamer card among them to the hand and then return the rest to the bottom of the deck. Then you get to hatch a card in your breeding zone, which is why it's so good to start off with the Ukamon, because then obviously if you open up another one of your rookies, you can just Digivolve on top of that and then you're basically an egg ahead of your opponent or a Digimon ahead of your opponent. And the best thing about the breeding zone is technically at this exact moment in time, to my knowledge, and I don't know every card in the Digimon database, your eggs are relatively free and safe. They can't be tampered with, they can't be destroyed. So that's one strategy of Digimon that I quite like, is you have to always remember that the egg, it can promote during the next turn. So that's something that if you have no security left, you've got to be very wary of that card that could be promoted from the egg and then attack directly and pretty much win the game from there. So the Ukamon's still really cool. I don't really want to be playing 4 of it. I felt that 2 was kind of enough and it worked out nicely. So being able to play a total of 10 rookies kind of worked out fine for me. There are still times in Digimon when your deck is limited to exactly 50 cards, you kind of want to make sure you have the draw capabilities enough, and that's why Ukamon is actually really kind of good, because you get the chance to go into your rookies, your champions and ultimates and everything else, or search out those to make it more consistent. So that's it for the rookies. Moving on to your champions, which are, of course, your play costs and your level 4s. So for the level 4s, we're only playing 8 of these, and that is 4 of the EX06 Gatomon. So these ones are on play or when Digivolving, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck to add a card with Angel, Archangel, or Fallen Angel trait, and 1 Miri Tamer among them to the hand, and return the rest to the bottom of the deck. So the difference between this Gatomon, it allows you to Digivolve for the cost of 2 on top of a purple or yellow. And then this Gatomon, which is a 5 cost hard play, on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck to then add a yellow and a purple Digimon card among them, and then place the rest on the bottom of the deck. So it allows you to add any yellow or any purple. And then your turn, when this Digimon would Digivolve into a card with Archangel or Fallen Angel in its traits, reduce the memory cost of the Digivolution by 2, which is massively helpful. The difference is this one can only be on play, so whether it's played out via a card effect or paying the cost of 5, whereas the other Gatomon can get its effect if it Digivolves on top, which is really cool. But this one just allows you to advance into your Devi Woman or Lady Devimons, and of course your Angel Woman's a lot easier. This also has the inherent that during the end of your turn, you get to DNA Digivolve this Digimon and then one of your other Digimons in play into a Digimon card in your hand by paying its DNA cost, which is really good because that's how you're going to get into your Mastemons. The other Gatomon gives the inherent that when it attacks one of your opponent's Digimon gets neg 2000 DP, which is really helpful. This one is something that I might want to look at adding. There is a Gatomon out there that has Barrier, but I felt that the rest of the effects weren't that great. So I'm really hoping in the future we're going to get an upgraded or another Gatomon upgrade, which would be really kind of cool, because this was from the starter deck and this is from EX6. We're currently on EX8 and I think we're on like starter deck nearly 20. So this is like nearly 10 structure decks out of date. Still a great card for the deck, don't get me wrong. Moving on to our ultimates. So we end up playing a balanced ratio of 6 Lady Devimons and 6 Angel Womans. So we play 6 of the BT11 Lady Devimons, 2 of the EX6s, and I like to play 1 of the structure deck 10. You don't have to play this. Some people would play 3 of the Lady Devimon from the EX6. But I quite like this one that on Digivolution or when Digivolving, you get to trash a card in your hand to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck to add a yellow and a purple with Angel, Archangel, or Fallen Angel in its traits among them to the hand and place the rest on the bottom. Its inherent one is that all of your yellow Digimon gain retaliation. When this Digimon is deleted, after you're losing a battle, you delete the opponent battling it. And the best thing about that is your Mastemon is yellow and purple, so obviously it will get the both inherited traits. The Lady Devimon from EX06 has naturally retaliation itself. And then on play or when digivolving, so that's the benefit in the difference between these two Lady Devies, is these two Lady Devies will only get effects when digivolving, whereas this one is on play or when digivolving. If you have Miri, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. If you don't have a Miri, you get to play a Miri from your trash without paying its cost, which is really helpful because our Miris are level 4 Tamers and level 5s, which can be quite annoying. Its inherent is actually really important as well, and the inherent is called Scapegoat. It basically means that when this Digimon would be deleted, other than by one of your effects, by deleting one of your other Digimon, you get to prevent the deletion, which can come up quite easily. But once your opponent's aware of this, they start playing cards that then put them back to the bottom security stack, or return it to the bottom of the deck, or de-digi them, and everything else. And then the last Lady Devimon that we play is the Lady Devimon from BT11. So when digivolving, you get to trash a card in your hand, and if you do, you get to return a Miri or one card with Angel, Archangel, or Fallen Angel in its traits from the trash to the hand, which is really important to help you recycle like your Mastemon aces and just your normal Mastemons. And then it also has an additional effect that your turn, when you play an Angelwoman or a Miri, you get to gain a memory. So that's it for the Lady Devies. There's 6 of these. Moving on to the Angelwomans. So we play 3 of the EX6s, we play 2 of the BT11s, and the last card, because I stupidly sold my original art to get an alternate art, and it didn't turn up in time for locals, I had to play a Magna Angemon, but this would obviously be the Angelwoman Ace, so keep that in mind. The Angelwoman Ace is the exact same 4-cost, 3 Digivolution, overflow of 3, and I'll talk about aces a little bit more detail in a second. But its difference one is its Blast Digivolve. On play or when digivolving, it allows you to add a security. Let me just double check this so I have the exact wording to hand. But there's 2 different kind of styles on this one, which is really, really kind of helpful. The Angelwoman, like the Angelmon actually came up quite nicely. When I was playing at locals, there was a couple of like the niche interactions with it. I was like, okay, this is actually more helpful than I initially thought. So the Angelwoman is on play or when digivolving, when I find an English one, by trashing the top or bottom card of your security stack, one of your opponent's Digimon gets neg 6000 DP until the end of the turn. And then all turns, once per turn, when a card is removed from your security stack, if you have 3 or lower security, or 3 or fewer, you recover one from the deck, which basically means you put the top card of your deck into your security. Whereas the Magna Angemon is if you have 5 or fewer security, you get to recover one from the deck. And then for the turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets neg 1000 DP for each card in your security stack. So it's a blessing and a curse. And what I mean by that is, no matter how many security you have, Angemon will always recover one. You just get to neg less, and you don't have to trash the security to do that. Whereas the Angelwoman makes you trash the security, and then you replace it. So it's one of the ones where it gets to balance it out. Obviously, if a card is removed during your opponent's turn as well, you'll get to be able to recover one as long as you have 3 or less, which is also quite nice. But as I've mentioned before, the more common players and the players that know exactly what they're doing, they're probably going to get rid of that first before they end up removing anything for the security. Or if they attack you, you're probably going to ace on top of it and go from there. So for those of you unfamiliar with aces, what it basically is a hand trap that when your opponent declares an attack, you get to digivolve this on top of the required cost. So this one will be able to digivolve on top of a Gotomon, Soul of course will Angelwoman, and so on and so forth. The issue with that is it also has this overflow text that when this card would be moved from the battle area or under a card to another area, you lose free memory. So it basically just gives your opponent free memory back. And then for the BT11 Angelwoman, this one, quite like the Deviwoman, is your turn. When you play a Lady Devimon or a Miri, you gain a memory. When digivolving, you get to search your security stack for one card with Angel, Archangel, or Fallen Angel in its trait, reveal it and add it to your hand, and if you added a card, you recover one from the deck. Its inherent allows you to, while you have a purple Digimon in play, all of your Digimon with Angel, Archangel, or Fallen Angel gain blocker, which is massively helpful. And then the EX6, quite like the Lady Devimon EX6 as well. This one has barrier, and it also has an on-play and when digivolving effect. If you have Miri in play, you can choose one of your opponent's Digimon and it gets neg 2 security, so it means it doesn't get to check security. Basically when it attacks your security, rather than checking 1, it would check -2, so that's quite helpful. And then if you don't have Miri in play, you get to play one from the hand. Its inherent is it gives all of your Angel or 3 Great Angels with the trait, it gains Alliance, which basically means when it attacks, you can tap another one of your Digimon and it will get a +1 security check and gain the DP stats that Digimon has. So that's it for our Angelwomans. moving on to our Mastemons. So for the Mastemons, that's slightly different from most builds. Is I was playing 4. Oh, that's not nice. I was playing 4. I was playing 4 of the Mastemon Aces. Now, originally, I play 3 Aces and 3 of the normal Mastemons. I actually decided right at the last minute to go for 4 Aces because I would actually much rather, especially when I was facing my the decks that are at locals, a lot of their Digimon are very rarely being left at level 5. The chances are when I'm DNA Digivolving, the deletion effect of this one, which allows you to play a level 5 from your security and then destroy an opponent or delete an opponent's Digimon of that level, it would be great if I was able to play. Like, obviously, it works when I play another Digimon via an effect, which is great. It means I can get up to deleting level 6s and level 7s, because obviously some of the ace cards and everything else. But it was one of the ones that on play, more times than not, when I'm DNA Digivolving, it's more beneficial for me to go into Mastemon, because on DNA Digivolving, Mastemon puts one of my opponent's Digimon to the bottom of their security stack, which means it lets me get rid of stuff that can't be deleted. It lets me get rid of stuff that is level 6 or higher a lot more consistently, and actually putting a lot more work for me, which is why I ended up going for a 4 and a 2 rather than a 3 and a 3. But most builds do play a 3 and a 3. It really is up to you. Yeah, and the one thing I haven't mentioned about Digimon, which I can't believe this, their artwork is unreal. So this comes from the structure deck. This comes from EX6. So this is the original art, and I love the artwork here. I'm just not the biggest fan of the yellow and the purple border. And this is the first alternate art, which I love this as well, because you've got like Angel Woman and Lady Devimon in the background. I'm not too sure if the focus will clear this out and just kind of see, there you go, there's Angel Woman there and then Devi Woman there. So the artworks are unbelievable. So this one is the ace, so it means it can be played during your opponent's turn, and when it blasts DNA Digivolves, it uses an Angel Woman or a Devimon on the field and then the other one in the hand, whereas DNA Digivolving needs them both to be on the board, so keep that in mind. On play or when Digivolving, you get to play a level 5 or lower Digimon card with the Angel, Archangel or Fallen Angel trait from your hand or trash without paying its cost, and then you get to DNA, if you DNA Digivolves, you get to place one other Digimon at the bottom of its owner's security stack. And trash cards from the top of your opponent's security stack until they have 4 left. So it's quite nice because it can technically put one of your monsters on the board back into your, or one of your Digimon, sorry, back into your security stack, so it means you recover one, which can be quite helpful. And then this Mastemon obviously isn't an ace, you have to DNA Digivolve it yourself. But when Digivolving, you place a yellow or purple Digimon card from your trash onto the top of your security stack face down. And when DNA Digivolving, you get to search your security stack to play a level 5 or lower Digimon card and play it without playing its memory cost, and then shuffle your security stack. When you play another Digimon, using this effect, you get to delete one of your opponent's Digimon whose level is less than or equal to that Digimon played. So obviously it's great if I was to play like an ace out during my opponent's turn, which is sometimes what happens because you'd play a Lady Devimon or an Angelman from your security stack, and then this is now active again during your opponent's turn. And that would mean you get to delete a level 5 on this play, and then you delete a level 6 on this play, which is quite helpful. But as I said, I was kind of trying to play around the Digimon that will either too high a level, so 7s or 6s, or just couldn't be deleted. So that's kind of where I went down that route. You can change it up as well. Some people do like to play Chaos Lucemon, which I completely understand, because the Chaos Lucemon, when it's summoned on play or when Digivolving, I believe it is, it allows you to delete one of your opponent's Tamers or Digimon, or they delete one of their Tamers or Digimon. So that's a level 5 you can bring out. You'd be able to resolve the Mastemon to delete a level 5 or lower Digimon, and then you'd also be able to delete another one. I like it. The issue is, for you to resolve that, you need to get it to the grave first, or the trash first, and then put it back to the security to get the benefit of it. Otherwise, it kind of acts like a bit of a brick card. So that's it. So a 4 and a 2. The other higher levels, so like the megas that I was playing the one Shadow Seraphimon. I could probably easily cut this out. I'm not really fully tied to this one. I haven't bought myself a Ruin mode yet. I'm not completely set on that yet. But I did quite like this because if there were times where I didn't have a Devi Woman or in my hand to complete the ace for Mastemon, I always had this to put this on top of either my Angemon or my Magna Angemon, or I could put it on top of my Angel Woman. And this one, of course, is blocker. And then when it's played, it lets me Digivolve free one of my opponent's monsters, which was something I was struggling with because I was facing stuff like Omnimons, and there were times where I was like, I need to Digivolve that Omnimon ace to then get an overflow, which would be very, very helpful for me. On top of that as well, when an attack target changes, one of your opponent's Digimon gets neg 5000 DP for the turn. So it basically means when this jumps into block one of your opponent's attacks, it can neg another Digimon or the Digimon that's attacking it by 5000 DP, which is really helpful. The other aces that I was playing 2 7s, so 2 more megas. I was playing the Shine Greymon Burst mode. Again, artwork, stunning. So this one was basically just an ace that I could put on top of my Mastemons, which is really helpful because it would blast Digivolve for free. And then on top of that is when play or when Digivolving, I get to play a Tamer card from my hand without paying its cost. And then one of my opponent's Digimon gets neg 5000 DP for the turn for each of my Tamers. So when you see the Tamers, I was actually playing a total of 9 Tamers. So it's quite nice to have that access to it. On top of that as well is when attacking by suspending up to 2 of my yellow Tamers, for each one, this Digimon gets +1 security tech for that turn. So obviously if I was to tap 2 Digimon Tamers, this would get +3 security share, which is insane. And then the last mega I was playing was Dephxmon. This is such a crazy card. So this one is when you would play this card, reduce its memory cost by 3 for each Digimon and Tamer your opponent plays. So like if they have enough Digimon and Tamers mixed on the board, you play this guy for free. And when it's played, or when Digivolving, you de-Digivolve by 1 all of your opponent's Digimon. And then you delete all of your opponent's level 4 or lowers. So if my opponents start having aces on the board, I drop a Dephx on them, I de-Digivolve all the aces, I then gain all of the overflow, and then I can build the rest of my board up from that point on. If that wasn't enough, end of my opponent's turn, I delete all of my opponent's Digimon with lowest play cost. So if they can't build up or get rid of this card or anything like that, and this is usually a target that your opponent specifically goes out of their way to get rid of after that happens, they pretty much lose their board, which is insane. And then he's swinging in as a 15k beater. Moving on to the Tamers. So for the Tamers, I was playing 3 of the 4 cost Miris. Don't worry, I'm definitely going to be upgrading the artwork. Like, again, this is the original art. This is the alternate art. So Devi Woman, Angel Woman, and then Miriam, like, it's just such a cool upgrade. Like, even this art was really nice, but this is just, like, outdo themselves every single time. For those of you unfamiliar as well, just to sometimes, I don't know if it's all the time, but to identify a normal art from its alternate art, this one actually has, and I won't be able to show this up here, but it has like a little star next to this logo here, which is basically, this is its rarity, so SEC is secret, and then it has a star to identify that it's the first alternate art. But like, if I look at, so my Mastermon's got it, so, oh yeah, so it might be on all of them. And then if it's an SP or if it's the higher level, it has 2 stars instead of 1. Anyway, I digress. So the Miri is a 4-drop, and then when one of your Holy Beast, Archangels, or Fallen-enabled trait Digimon is played, so very big and specific on the wording of being played and Digivolving, which we'll see on the other Miri that we play. By suspending this Tamer, you gain a memory, and then one of your Digimon may Digivolve into an Angewoman or a Lady Devimon in your trash with the Digivolution unit, Digivolution cost reduced by 1. So the best thing about that is if you had a Angewoman or a Devi Woman in the graveyard, and you were to hard play the Gatomon, you could then use the Miri to tap this to gain a memory back, and then when you Digivolve into a Devimon from the graveyard, you get to reduce the Digivolution by 1, and this lets you Digivolve for a cost less of 2. So you reduce it by 3, which means you basically turn your Gatomon into a Deviwoman, a Devimon or a Angewoman for nothing, which is insane. And then at the end of the turn, 2 of your Digimon may DNA Digivolve into a Digimon from the hand. So this basically gives the inherent effect of what the Gatomon would do anyway, which is really helpful. The other Miri that we play is the 5-drop Miri. So the start of the turn, you gain a memory. And then one of your Digimon Digivolves into an Angewoman or a Lady Devimon. If you have 1 or fewer Digimon in play, by suspending this Tamer, you get to play an Angewoman or a Lady Devimon with a different name than the Digimon you just Digivolved into from your hand without paying its cost. Both of these securities, if they get hit with security, you play them without paying the cost, which is really helpful. Now, the other supporting Tamers that I used was I played 2 Analog Youth. And the reason I played this was I was kind of like, well, if my first rookie that I Digivolve into in my egg is this Salmon, it doesn't get much value unless I have a Gatomon in the graveyard or the trash, sorry, that it can Digivolve into. So I was like, all right, let's try Analog Youth. And this allows you to, on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add a Digimon card among them, and then trash the remaining cards. So if I saw a Gatomon, I would put the Gatomon in the grave or the trash and then add a card to the hand. And then when one of my level 5 or higher Digimon with Digivolution cards is deleted, I get to suspend this Tamer, gain a memory, and hatch a Digi-Egg. Now, obviously, this is optional. You don't have to play the Analog Youth. It was just one that I thought would help me advance my consistency to get to the cards I needed, put cards into the graveyard, and also have that nice little hidden effect. If my opponent forgets about it, I can hatch a card and gain a memory. The last time that I played was the TK. Now, the reason I played this is start of your turn. If you have 2 or less memory, you set it to 3, which is really common in the game of Digimon, is that you can memory choke your opponent. So you make sure your opponent only ever really gets 1 memory, and then it's a lot harder for them to do everything because more times than not, as soon as the memory goes over to your opponent or over to the other side, it passes turn. So you've got to be very, very careful of that one. And having a Digimon like this in play, it kind of restricts some of your opponent's plays as well, because they're like, oh, well, you've got a memory resetter. I don't want to just pass on one memory because you're going to go up to 3 anyway. So they try to get the value where they can. And sometimes that doesn't always come to face. So yeah, TK is really important. And then when you play it, you get to look at your security stack, reveal one card in it, and add it to the hand. If it was a yellow, you get to trigger a recovery to add one from the top of the deck back to your security stack. And then the last card that I am playing is I'm playing 2 of the Amber Memory Boost. So this one lets you, it also meets the purple activation cost. I reveal the top 3 cards on my deck to add a yellow or purple Digimon card among them to the hand. I return the rest to the bottom of the deck. And then it has a delay effect, which means the next turn I can activate the effect, or the turns after. I can activate the effect, send it to from the battle area to the trash, and then I gain 2 memory. So it's another way of extending your plays to get you where you need to go. So that is pretty much it. Now, I know that was a very long video, but I wanted to provide as much information as possible because, obviously, like I said, I'm new to Digimon. All of this is a little bit of a new experience for me, and I thought this would be quite an interesting video, or quite a nice introductory video for new players, even consistent players as well, to see an updated Mastemon deck, provide you with feedback on my locals experience, my updated deck experience, and just kind of everything else in between. Like, I like Mastemon as a general Digimon deck, or like a general Digimon, because I like the idea of Angelwoman and Deviwoman come together, and I would love to see an Angemon and a Devimon kind of like hybrid. I know that's not part of the Digimon lore, or at least I don't know if there is. Keep in mind, I watched Digimon back through like season 1, so I haven't watched Digimon recently for a long, long time, but I would love to kind of see that happen. But I went with the Mastemon as the next best alternative, and I just love the artwork. Like, I love the half dark, half light, the angel essence of it as well. It just works really well. And like, how can you not like artwork like this? Like, what the hell? This is absolutely stunning. And I know this isn't a Yu-Gi-Oh channel, but I'm trying to find, like, okay, this is an alternate art. This is an ultimate rare. Like, look at the full art, man. Like, if this was full art, how cool would that look? And like, they're showing that they can do it. Anyway, that's my little gripe with Yu-Gi-Oh. But I still enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh, don't get me wrong. I just, playing Digimon as well, I'm like, damn, I actually enjoy this as well. And there's loads of different factors that Digimon do that I didn't even realise. Like, after the first couple of times of playing Digimon, I didn't realise how many times you don't search your deck, you search the top few cards of your deck, and you either put them into the trash or you put them to the bottom of the deck. And I was like, holy crap. I can't believe how little shuffling we do in Digimon. Like, you don't shuffle. And I was like, with Yu-Gi-Oh, every time I search a deck, every time I search a card, I'm shuffling, passing to my opponent, they shuffle, they pass it back. And I was like, I wonder how much time you actually save in a Digimon game with the fact that you're not shuffling as much. I wonder if it's like a big factor. If you were to go, like, well, I mean, I suppose maybe a Yu-Gi-Oh combo turn is a little bit bigger, but it'd be very interesting to see how a normal Digimon turn could go in comparison, or like just how much time is actually played in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, if you were to take away the time that was taken every time you shuffled and passed back and forth and everything like that, if you took that out of the Yu-Gi-Oh game, how much actual play time has happened? And I suppose that's the other thing about the side deck as well, is you would technically get 3 minutes in between rounds, whereas with Digimon you just shuffle up, pass up, cut up, and start. So, I don't know, it was just something fascinating that I hadn't really kind of focused on or even noticed prior to that. Anyway, again, I digress. I'm just trying to... It's a very interesting kind of point to be in, or like a viewpoint to be in, when I'm looking at, you know, the 2 different sides, 2 different games, and I enjoy them both really, really well. It was just kind of fascinating to be like, oh, okay, so it works that way, and oh, okay, that's something to kind of consider when you're as close to both these games as I currently am. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Any questions, put them in the comments down below. Either myself or Joe will be more than happy to answer them for you. Please make sure you smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more Digimon content. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe. And usually I would say happy dueling, but happy Digivolving?